Hey, beautiful people of the internet, how are you guys doing today? Hopefully great. Welcome back to some Warframe, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Welcome to the top 9 Tanky Warframes of 2020. Now, the criteria that I use to justify this list are Warframes that are particularly designed or have abilities that give you more armor or help you survive in much better ways. So, Warframes like Mesa or Nova are not in this list because they give themselves damage reduction and are meant to do something else, either crowd control or killing. Now, if your favorite Warframe or your favorite Tanky Warframe is not on this list, that does not mean it's terrible. It just means that that particular Warframe that you guys like are outclassed by the ones on this list. So, that does not mean that my word is law. We all are gamers, we all play Warframe, we all have our own opinions and gameplay or play style. So without further ado, click the subscribe button for more Warframe videos, and let's do this. So at our number 9 spot, we have Rhino. Not only is he a great tank, but also he is a great beginner friendly Warframe. So if you guys are new to Warframe, I recommend you guys go with Rhino because he'll teach you how to play the game without worrying about being killed in any way. But the one thing I don't like about Rhino is the fact that his Iron Skin teaches you how to play Warframe the incorrect way, because you don't have to worry about damage being taken to your health, nor do you have to worry about ragdoll effects. And I feel like if you guys know how to counter all that, you will survive very easily. But nonetheless, he is still a great Warframe, and I still highly recommend him. But just don't get too used to his Iron Skin. Coming in at our number 8 spot, we have Valkyrie. Now, for those of you who've been following me for a while, you guys know I love Valkyrie. Her playstyle specifically suits those who want to go in melee only. In fact, she's got the highest base armor among all Warframes. So the ability that makes her shine is Warcry. Now here's how Warcry works. You activate this ability and your attack speed for your melee goes up. Your armor value goes up. The enemies that get affected by Warcry, they will be slowed, and finally their armor value will be decreased. It's also worth noting that Valkyrie is a much better beginner friendly Warframe than Rhino, because her passive will allow you to get up quicker if you get knocked down. She has a lot of armor, and a number 4 will give you a lot of damage. And if you guys are low on health, what's going to happen is your number 4, when you attack an enemy, you'll instantly get all your health back. Moving on to our number 7 list, that being Wukong, aka Monkey King Prime. And let me just say, Wukong's overall kit is amazing. Let me explain. First off, he can kill really well because of his Primal Rage. That is an exalted based ability, specifically wielding an iron staff. His next ability, Wukong can heal himself using Cloud Walker. During this ability, Wukong becomes immune to any form of damage and you can heal yourself. After that, we've got his next ability. Basically, Wukong splits himself in half, calling in a homie to assist him in the battle. And finally, we have the ability that's suited particular for this list, that being his absorption ability. So here's how it works. Wukong will go into this absorption state. During that state, what will happen is all the damage that he receives from the enemy will be converted into armor. Specifically, you'll get 1500 base armor, which is Valkyrie levels of armor. Moving on to our number 6 spot, we have Oberon. He is one of my favorite Warframes to play purely because of his aggressive playstyle and the support he offers. Let me explain. You could say that Oberon is the best support in the game. He even gives Trinity a run for her money. But let's explain first. So in terms of support, he offers high armor and high heal rates if you guys have high power strength on the build. On top of that, if you guys add an augment called Phoenix Renewal, basically if a teammate or yourself dies while they are under the effects of renewal, they will be given a second chance at life. But there is a 90-second cooldown. After the 90-second cooldown is up, you then get that second chance back, which I think is extremely beneficial to literally every other mission, such as Arbitration, where your lives are very limited. On the number 5 spot, we have Nezha. Now, Nezha's tankiness works very similar to Rhino's Iron Skin and Wukong's Armor Absorption ability. The only difference is that Nezha does not have a cap on the amount of damage he receives. So let me give you guys an example. So when you guys are in a mission and you feel like the enemy's focus is too much for you, what happens is when you activate Nezha's ability, Nezha will then go into this state of absorption. During this state, whatever damage that Neja receives, he will take that value and add to his armor. So for instance, if you receive 30,000 damage, Neja will take that 30,000 and add to his hit points. It also gives you about 90% damage reduction. And on top of the tankiness, Neja also offers you crowd control, which allows you to slip away if you guys are in a sticky situation. Moving on to the number 4 spot, our favorite dragon, Chroma. Now for those of you who've been playing Warframe for a long time, you guys know Chroma has a history of taking out any enemy that stands in his way. So let me explain. So Chroma's got these two abilities, Elemental Ward and Vex Armor. So the way that Vex Armor works is damage you take to your shield, you'll gain more armor. Damage that you take to your health, you'll gain more damage output. Elemental Ward works like this. Depending on your color or your energy color on Chroma will determine the abilities you have. So for instance, if you've got white, that makes a snow Chroma, meaning that you'll have more armor and a little bit of damage. If you guys have an electric Chroma, that means blue energy color, you guys will have even more damage and probably very less armor. If you guys have got heat damage or red energy color, then you're just going to have a bigger energy pool. So depending on the energy color that you have of Chroma will determine the abilities you guys get. Now, not too long ago or a while now, Chroma was reworked or nerfed because of how powerful he was. I completely agree with his damage being too powerful, but I feel like his state could be better, because what they could have done was they could have just left the armor the way it was and just nerfed or rework the damage instead. Because I understand it, but if a Warframe is too tanky, it's not like it's a bad thing. But anyways, that's just my opinion. Chroma is still awesome. He's mainly used for Eidolon hunting. And if you guys want to know what Eidolon hunting is, I'll leave a link down to that video in the description, so go check it out. On our number 3 spot, we have Inaros, aka the Sand King. Now, Inaros is a very special frame because he was the first to have no shields, but he's got the biggest health pool across the board. So let's go over his kit. So Inaros has many ways that he can survive, increase his armor and restore his health, and maybe do a few crowd control if he needs it. So he's got one ability that what he does is he grabs some sand and throws it in the enemy's eyes. While those enemies are blinded, what happens is those targets are opened up to executions. If you perform a successful execution, what will happen is any health that was previously lost will be restored instantly. Next, we've got an ability called Sandstorm. What Sandstorm does is, as the name of the ability suggests, you create a sandstorm that ragdolls all the enemies. It's mainly used to get yourself out of any sticky situation if it may arise. But you're playing as Inaros, that situation rarely, if not never, happens. Moving on to his third ability, I'm not too sure what's it called, but here's how it works. You target an enemy, Inaros will then throw these bandages just like how Scorpio throws his chains, pulls them towards him, and then Inaros will start to devour them. While Inaros devours them, you'll restore your own health, and while you're in the process of doing this, you will then become immune. Moving on to his fourth ability, ladies and gentlemen, this is his bread and butter. This is the ability that you always use before you start any mission. So here's how it works. The name of this ability is called Scarab Armor. So what happens is you will sacrifice a portion of your health in order to increase your armor, which is even better. So not only is he tanky already, now with Scarab Swarm active, you're going to make himself even more tankier. To push Inaros even further, there's an augment called Scarab Swarm. Basically, if you've got this augment equipped, what will happen is your Scarab Swarm will make you immune to any form of status effect that hits you. So for instance, viral, slash, toxin, anything. Because of that augment, you'll be 100% immune to any status effect. Moving on to our number 2 spot, we have Hilton. Now, she is the exact opposite of Inaros. Hilton has the biggest shield pool across all frames. And on top of that, Hilton does not have an energy bar. In fact, the energy bar is the amount of shield she has. So she relies heavily on the amount of shields she has. Now, if you build her correctly, her passive makes her extremely tanky. Let me explain this. So, the way that you want to build her is simple. You want to take a dragon key and put on her and put no shield mods on whatsoever. In fact, you guys want to decrease her shield as much as possible. Then if you've got arcanes, you just have to put arcanes that make her restore her shields almost instantly. So here's how her passive works. The moment her shield disappears, what happens is she'll go into a immune state, so making her tanky constantly. Think of it as if Harold could always spam his number 4 all the time, you know, constantly just click 4 all the time. And finally, moving on to our number 1 list, we have Nidus. Surprise, surprise, am I right? So both Nidus and Inaros have one thing in common, and that is both frames do not have any shields at all, and both of them have a higher than usual health pool to compensate for the lack of shields. Now, in my honest opinion, I feel that Nidus is the best tank in the entire game. Let me explain myself. Now, feel free to disagree with my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but let's respect each other in the comments section. Here's why I say Nidus is the best tank. Okay, so you've got this ability called Link. Now what Link does is you look for a target and you link to them, like a little cord coming from Nidus. What this will do is that any form of damage that comes towards you will not be directed towards you. Instead, it will be directed towards your linked target. Now, because the target's health does scale with the environment, therefore you will have scaling armor or health depending on the faction you are fighting. And on top of that, you have this ability where you summon an infested garden. If you are standing on the infested garden, what happens is you will have a constant health regeneration. And also, what makes Nidus even more tankier is the fact that he relies on these things called stacks. Now, a stack only hits 100. If you are at 100 stacks and you die, what happens is you will lose 15. When you do lose 15, you'll be given 5 seconds to recover. And then, if you want, you can get the stacks back by activating your larva, grab the enemies and hang them with your number 1. And then you'll be back at 100 stacks. So that's why I think Nidus is the best Warframe and when it comes to tankiness, just because of how well his survivability is, and on top of that, he has constant health regeneration for free. So that is the 9 tankiest Warframes currently in the game. Now, if your favorite tanky frame did not make the list, that does not mean it is useless. It just means that it does not fit my particular playstyle, and I believe that it won't fit the majority of the community's playstyle. Now, because there's no such thing as a useless frame in the game. Every single frame will fit into this game in some way or fashion. Now, I do know that Necros is another tanky frame and he is amazing. I absolutely love everything about him. He looks cool, he survives, he's really well when it comes to survival missions because of his desecration. He's pretty good cover because of the Shield of Shadows augment. And there's also a bunch of stuff. But the reason why I didn't include him in this list was purely because he's not designed to be a tank. You know, you have to put like special mods to make him become a lot more tanky. But anyways, that's all I have for today's video. If you guys liked the video or if it's helped you, leave a like. Spot and click the subscribe button for more Warframe videos. I'm a man like a banana and split.